Hi, I'm Aniswagle and welcome to my channel. Today in this video we are going to learn about creating a 3D Rubik's Cube in Blender 2.8. Here we will learn about basic concept of modeling, UV editing, texture painting, shading and many more. So without any delay, let's begin. Before starting the video, I wanna say that if you are new to the channel, then we create videos about modeling, animating, game designing, and programming. So if you are interested in this topic, then you might consider subscribing to us. Also, my friend Unfocus Us is creating a series on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if you are interested in this kind of topic, then please visit his channel. Of course, the link will be in the description. When you first open the Blender, you will be welcomed by this screen, where you will have a camera, lamp, and a cube. If this is not what you are getting, then you can change it to the default value by going upon Files and selecting on Restored Factory Shading. And then after clicking OK, you will get the same page just the way I am getting it here. Once you get that, what you need to do is click on the cube at the middle and press 1 to go to the front view of the cube. In the front view, you can go to the edit mode by pressing tab in your keyboard, or by selecting over here and click on edit mode. Once you are in edit mode, what you need to do is click Ctrl R to create a subloop. After doing so and hovering toward one edge of the cube, you will see an yellow line in the middle of the cube. In Rubik's Cube, there are two horizontal lines and two vertical lines. So by scrolling your wheel, you can increase or decrease the number of vertices created. We need two. So scroll until you get two vertices and left click. Once you left click, you will see these two orange lines which are movable, but we want them in their default position. So to keep them in the default position, just right click and they will be placed in the default position. Again, we also need two horizontal lines, so you have to do the same thing by pressing Ctrl R and hovering toward the horizontal edge and again scrolling until you get two edges and place right click. Then you will get a small cube like structure, Rubik's cube like structure. But this is just the front face. When you go to the side face by clicking 3 on your numpad, there are no two vertical lines here. So we have to create those lines again by clicking Ctrl R and scrolling until we get two edges and clicking left click and right click. This will give us two vertical line in our side view as well. And now you can see it's looking a little like the Rubik's Cube. So in Rubik's Cube, there is gap between every cubes. So now we need to select the whole loop of the edges and shrink them. To select the whole loop, what you need to do is click Alt and click on the vertices like this. And once you click, you can shrink all vertices toward the center by pressing S on your keyboard and moving it toward the center. But wait, it is not looking the way a Rubik's Cube does. It is because it is influencing the other vertices which are besides it. To remove this problem, what we need to do is add two other loop cuts beside these vertices, these edges. For that, again, what we need to do is press Ctrl R and create edge loops and keep them near toward the edge which will be shrinked. And also do the same for the horizontal line as well. it is a bit difficult for me to work and speak at the same time, so hope you will not mind my errors in the talking. Again, it is done in the front face, but we have to add two vertical line in the side view as well. Once it is done, now if we select the middle edge of the line and shrink it to the center by clicking Alt select and pressing yes and moving the arrow toward the center, now it will not deform. Let's do this for all the middle edges of the cube. You can hold your middle mouse button to rotate in the screen and shift middle mouse button to move in the screen. Now, after doing this, it is looking a lot like a real Rubik's Cube, but it has a lot of sharp edges. We can remove these sharp edges by applying surface division modifier. For that, go to the setting and click on subdivision modifier. But wait, it again diffused our model, and of course it doesn't look anything like a real Rubik's Cube. For now, let's cut that division modifier and add the vertices around every edges of the cube so that it will not deform. Again, what we need to do is press Ctrl R and place the edges near the corner of every corner. And now let's add the same vertical loops in our side views. And now when we apply the subdivision modifier by clicking over add modifier and subdivision surface, it will not deform like it did before. And it looks perfect. We cannot apply in the edit mode, so I have to click on tab and go to object mode and click on apply. So here it is, our Rubik's Cube. So this is the modeling part. UV map is a way of unwrapping our 3D object into 2D object so that we can apply our texture toward it. Here in our cube there are a lot of edges and meshes, so it is a little complex for me to show you how it works. So let me create a small cube to demonstrate how UV map work. Here we have a cube with 4 sides. So if we go to the UV editor, you can see that every side is unwrapped and opened in the UV map section. If we want to have the control over how to open any 3D object, then we can do that by selecting the edges from where we want to unwrap the 3D object. Let me demonstrate you here by going to the edge selection mode by pressing 2 on my keyboard and clicking few edges for the demonstration. After selecting this, you can press U on your keyboard and click on Marks Seam. After doing so, if you again select all the object by clicking A and going to U and select on Unwrap, then you can see that it deforms in different way. So if you wish, you can manually unwrap your object the way you want it. So now let's remove this cube and unwrap our 3D model. I'm going to my layout and select the cube. And to use unwrapping feature in 3D modeling, what you need to do is you must be in the edit mode. And after selecting everything in edit mode, press U, and here we have smart UV projection. Here, increase the island margin little bit so that there will be little gap between each objects, and I will also increase the weight. And by pressing OK, it will automatically create a UV map for me. Since our model is a little complex, it is hard for us to create everything manually. So you can see that every face has been divided and placed in our map editor. To start texture painting, you need to select on texture paint right there. And after going here, you might see a purple cube, and when you try to paint here, it might say there is no texture found. To solve this problem, what you need to do is click over this plus option here and create a new material. We will select base color and give the name. Let's give it base cube. I would like to bump the texture quality by twice by placing 2048 over here, so that I will get higher picture resolution and also make it little blackish. Now you will get a little black cube just like this. Don't worry, we will do little shading to make it look great. Now you can paint over it directly in the 3D model. But when you paint in 3D model, you might notice that sometimes you can mistakenly paint some portion of the cube where you don't want to paint. So to solve this problem, we will not paint our model in 3D but use UV editor right here to paint our model. To make the UV editor paintable, you need to place the cube base in the UV model by clicking here and selecting cube base. Clicking here and clicking on paint. Now you can directly paint on your 2D texture map and it will paint your 3D model just like this. So now let me undo everything and mark all the faces with their respective color, because as you all know, a Rubik cube have 6 faces and 6 different color. Let me first mark all these colors. Okay, now once you notice every color is marked in the 3D view, it is also marked in the 2D texture map. So to edit, now you can directly paint on your 2D texture map and your 3D cube will be updated. Let me show you by coloring this one cube, and you can see when I textured this one in the texture map, it is also updated in the 3D cube. But when you try to color some pixels, it sometimes the color might pass to the other surface as well. To go solve this problem, what you can do is change the size of your brush. You can increase or decrease the radius of your brush by pressing F on your keyboard and moving your pointer far away to increase and toward the center to decrease the size of the brush. You can also increase or decrease the strength of the brush by pressing Shift F and again by moving far away from the center to make it weak and goes toward the center to make it strong or hard. So let me show you by painting few of this cube by decreasing the size of the brush so that it do not affect other places, and again increasing the size to speed up the thing. You can paint anywhere outside the boundary of your you can paint outside the boundaries and it will not affect other cube until and unless the color is inside their boundary. And That's fine. To move inside the UV panel, you can do same as pressing middle mouse button and moving around. And to zoom in and zoom out, you can use scroll button. So now let's paint the red cube. For that, click on this blue button and click the picker. And after picker is selected, you can directly hover and click on the red button so that red is selected. And now you can directly paint using the red. So for painting green, you can do the same thing. So let me fast undo everything, and I will be right back after painting all the places and make it look just like a Rubik's cube. After painting every part of the cube, this is how my Rubik's cube look like. I hope your looks better than mine. So now in next section, we will learn little about the shading. To use shading, go to your shading option. Let me first remove everything from here and you will get this purple cube. Let me just remove this material and show you everything from beginning so that you can use material in any of the 3D model. To create a new material, you need to click on this plus new button, and by clicking here you can add a new material to any 3D model. Here you will get a principal shader and a material output. Material output is the final output of your mesh. To change the color, you can click on base color and select anything you wish. But in our case, we already have a texture. So to import the texture, click on add and go to textures and select image texture. Here you will get this node. You have to place this somewhere in the map and click right over this small image icon and select your texture map name. After you select the texture map name, connect color to the base color. And by doing so, voila, you get your texture is implemented in your 3D model. Now you can edit other things from your principal shader, like making it a little rough and a little metallic. And this looks perfectly fine for me. So let's go to our layout view and see how it looks. The material, click on the material menu and it looks a lot like a real Rubik's cube. So now let's prepare for the rendering. To render this object, we need to go right over here, and here we have selected EV Render Engine. EV Render Engine is a new feature of Blender 2.8 where it will let you see the object in real time, and the object is now light by this ball. Let's remove it because we will not use EV but a cycle renderer. And now let's place the object at the surface. By selecting it, by pressing Z we can grab the object, and pressing Z to grab it in the vertical direction, and 1 to place it right at the center of the grid. And now you can see that it is perfectly on the grid plane. You can adjust the view from the camera by pressing 0 on your numpad, but when you try to rotate the camera, it just pops out of the camera. To make the scene look perfect, what you can do is go to the camera by pressing 0 on your numpad, then pressing N to bring this menu, and by scrolling little, you can take this lock camera to the view. And now when you move your mouse middle button inside the view, your camera's viewpoint will also move. Now place your camera in a perfect position from where you want to render this object. For me, I guess this position will be perfect. Okay, once I have satisfied my view, now what I want to do is place this cube in a plane so that none of this grid is shown in our final render. For that, by pressing Shift A, I created a plane, and by pressing yes and moving outside, I increased the size of the plane. Now, when we go to the camera view, we can see little of the grid. So I want to move the plane in such a way that it covers every portion. By pressing 7, I can go to the top view, and by grabbing using Z, I can move a bit of the plane toward the side. And now you can see that my camera view doesn't have any of the grid and can only view the plane. Let's create a material by pressing add material in the shading, and let's select a little bluish color and increase its roughness to the max. Don't know why, but I like this color combination. And after adjusting this, now we can see how it looks by clicking on this render button. But wait, everything is black because we removed the bulb and we don't have anything in our world to light our body. To solve this problem, what I want to do is select this plane and click on Shift D to duplicate this plane and move it right here. Now by going to shading, I want to delete its material and create a new material. Now I want to remove this principal shader because we don't need this. Now by clicking on add and going to the shaders, I want to add a emission shader. Emission shader will emit light from the surface. And by connecting emission to the surface of the material output, now our object can emit light. I want to increase the strength of the light and change the color a little toward yellowish so that it will look a little warm. So now let's place our light somewhere. By grabbing, I can move the light toward the camera, and by pressing R, I can rotate it so that it will face toward our object. It looks little like a studio light. Now let's place it little perfectly. Oh, I moved in the wrong way. Now you can see that it's just perfectly in front of our light, in front of our Rubik's Cube, and will light our Rubik's Cube in a good way. So now when we go to our render view, you can see that our Rubik's Cube is now viewing clearly. But because the light strength is very high, it has desaturated our colors. So let's fix this by going to our setting and decreasing the strength of our light. Let's decrease it to almost 10, and let's move our, now it is looking a little perfect. I also want to move the light a bit backward so that it is not so much strong the way it is right now. For that, let's come out of the camera, and by selecting the light object, I can grab it and move it a little. I guess this place is perfect for our scene. So now let's see how it looks inside our camera, and I guess it is perfect. So now let's render the view. To render it, what you need to do is press F12 on your keyboard. It will take few minutes to complete the rendering. So let's see you after rendering is complete. So this is it, my friend. This is our final view, and you can save it by clicking on this image and save image as and give the name to the image. I hope this tutorial was helpful. This was mainly intended for the beginner user and for you to get familiarized with Blender 2.8. So if you found this video a little bit useful, then please consider subscribing. We will do a lot of videos like this and other videos about game development, programming, and many more. So please consider subscribing.